How can you express sincere empathy in English, whether you're dealing with an upset customer or talking with a friend who just lost her job? In this Confident English lesson today, I'm going to share with you 4 immediately effective strategies and over 25 common phrases you can use to genuinely demonstrate empathy in English. If you don't already know, I'm Anne-Marie with Speak Confident English. Everything I do is designed to help you get the confidence you want for your life and work in English, no matter how shy, stuck, or nervous you might feel right now. One way I do that is through my weekly Confident English lessons where I share with you English confidence and fluency building strategies, advanced level vocabulary, in-depth grammar training, and targeted lessons on communication skills, just like this one. So while you're here, be sure to subscribe to my Speak Confident English channel so you never miss one of these lessons. Now, let's get back to empathy. A few weeks ago, a member in my Confident Women community shared that she had just started a new job as a customer service representative in an American company. Within the first few weeks of her position, she discovered that her language for demonstrating empathy in English was limited, and she wanted to know if I could help by offering new ways and new phrases for her to sincerely express empathy to customers. The moment I read that question, I started thinking about this lesson, and here's why. Empathy is an integral part of emotional intelligence, and it's a highly sought-after skill in client relations. Moreover, empathy is essential for positive communication on teams and for strong personal relationships with loved ones. So whether you're looking to sharpen your professional and English-speaking skills in customer service, or you want to ensure effective communication with everyone around you, this lesson is going to help you do just that. Plus, at the end, I'm going to share with you an email I recently received that perfectly demonstrates empathy using all the strategies you're going to learn here today. To get started, let's do a quick review of what exactly empathy is and how it's different from sympathy, because I often hear mistakes or confusion between the two. Empathy means to experience or feel with others. It means taking the time to understand someone else's perspective. 2 words that we tend to associate with empathy are I understand. Sympathy, on the other hand, is expressing sorrow, pity, or concern for someone else. Rather than understanding how someone else feels, it's more focused on how you feel about that person and his or her situation. 2 words that we tend to associate with sympathy are I'm sorry. Let's take a look at how both might be used in a response to a friend who just lost her job. You might start with sympathy by saying, I'm so sorry you've lost your job. And then to add on an empathetic response, you might add, I understand how important that job was to you. If there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. By adding that empathetic response, you're demonstrating emotional intelligence and establishing a deeper connection, which ultimately leads to more compassionate responses and a stronger level of trust in the relationship. To help you do this, let's take a look at the first strategy for demonstrating empathy. First, acknowledge their concerns or feelings. By acknowledging someone's concern, anger, disappointment, frustration, or even a positive emotion, such as excitement, you are creating that deeper connection. Rather than a feeling of you versus me, you're creating a sense in which it is us, something that we are in together, and if a solution is needed, we're going to find it together. To create this feeling, it's important to name or acknowledge the specific feeling or concern. Let's take a look at two different scenarios to see how you might do this. One is professional and the other more personal. First, let's imagine that a customer is extremely frustrated with your product. The customer expected a specific feature or function only to find that your product doesn't do what they want. An empathetic response would sound like, I understand how important this feature is to your business and that you're frustrated that our product doesn't have that feature. Did you notice the two keywords, I understand, and we named the specific feeling, frustration? Let's take a look at another situation that is more personal. Imagine that one of your coworkers recently lost a loved one. An empathetic response and acknowledgement of the feelings might sound like, I know how heartbreaking and painful this loss must be. By taking the time to understand and acknowledge how someone else feels, you're also communicating openness, acceptance. You're creating a window of opportunity in which you can form that deeper connection. Now, before we move on to strategy number 2, let's take a look at 3 more phrases you can use to help you do this. Number 1, I understand this was very difficult to do. Or, I understand this was very frustrating. Number 2, you took a leap of faith to share this with me. Thank you for trusting me. Or, I know it took a lot for you to share this with me. Thank you for trusting me. And number 3, that must have been a pretty awful experience. That must have been a terrifying experience. That must have been an annoying experience. As you can see, in all of those phrases, we could use any emotion that is appropriate. We just have to change that keyword. Once you've acknowledged someone's concern or feelings, it's time to move on to strategy number 2. Reflect back what you hear. When others express frustration, sorrow, or anger, we have this natural tendency to immediately provide reassurance. But in doing so, it might make the speaker feel that what they've said has gone in one ear and out the other. In other words, you didn't really hear them at all. Before we immediately provide a solution or some kind of reassurance, it's important to demonstrate empathy by showing that we are fully present in the conversation and actively listening. We do that by reflecting back what we hear. Now, if you're interested in active listening skills in English, I have a full lesson on that topic. I'll share a link to that lesson in the video notes below. But now, let's talk about how you can reflect back what you hear. I have 3 example phrases for you, and as you listen, I want you to see if you notice a pattern or formula of some kind. Phrase number 1, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like you're feeling annoyed. Is that right? Or from what I'm hearing, it sounds like you're feeling frustrated. Is that right? Number 2, if I understand correctly, you're feeling frustrated because our product doesn't have that feature. Is that correct? And number 3, it sounds like what you're telling me is that you're frustrated our product doesn't have that feature. Is that true? Did you notice the pattern or formula I used? In each one of those statements, I start by establishing that I'm going to share what I understand. Then I name specifically the feeling or concern and I paraphrase what I understand the problem to be. And then lastly, I ask to confirm that assumption. This is particularly effective when someone is sharing multiple details with you and you want to get right to the heart of the issue or the heart of the problem. For example, let's say that you're responding to a customer who's very upset and bombarding you with details. When it's time for you to respond, you might say, if I understand correctly, you're feeling frustrated because the order was canceled and we didn't provide advance notice. Is that right? These simple phrases that allow you to acknowledge someone's concern or feeling and reflect back what you hear take a huge step forward in offering an empathetic response. And now it's time for strategy number 3. Identify their needs and show support with positive language. Whether it's a close friend expressing deep grief over a loss, or a customer who's upset and frustrated, expressing those emotions requires some vulnerability, and vulnerability is daunting. In a moment of vulnerability, what most people want initially is to be heard and understood. Doing that requires a quick evaluation of whether or not someone is looking for a solution or whether they simply want your support. And there's a difference. Think for a moment about the last time you were exhausted at the end of a long, terrible day at work. Maybe a customer was extremely upset with you, there were some missed deadlines, something was over budget, and all of your meetings went long. So you're totally worn out. You get home, you start talking about your day, and in the process, what is it that you want the most? Do you want someone to interrupt and say, "Oh, you know what, tomorrow you should," and then give a solution? Or do you want someone to just listen and say, "Oh, that sounds awful. I'm so sorry. I understand that must feel terrible and you must be exhausted." Chances are you're looking for number 2. You want someone to show support. An empathetic listener will be careful to respond in a way that shows they understand what you need in the moment without giving any unsolicited advice. Similarly, in customer service, an initial empathetic response will identify the customer's need before offering a solution. And along the way, it'll include showing support through positive language. To do this, here are several phrases you can use. "I'm here for you. What can I do to help? I understand this is a very difficult time for you. What can I do right now that would be most helpful? How can I help you get through this? I understand why you're angry, and I want to thank you for bringing this to our attention. I'm ready to help." And lastly, "I hear you. This is certainly a frustrating situation, and I'm ready to help." Every one of those phrases shows empathy by letting the speaker know that they have been heard and understood, and you are there to support them. Now, in situations when a solution is expected, for example, if a customer is upset, of course they want some kind of a resolution. Here's what you might add on. You can start with, "I understand how frustrating this is, and I'm ready to help." Then provide the solution. For example, "We'd like to offer you," and then describe the offer. "We can have our maintenance team there by," and then name the date and time. "Would it help if we," and then insert your offer or solution. "We will," and then state exactly what you're going to do or what your team is going to do. "How would you feel about," and then offer your solution or idea. Once you've gone through those first 3 strategies, the last step in demonstrating empathy with sincerity is to follow up and express appreciation. While it's important to express empathy in response to an immediate situation, asking follow-up questions, a skill my Fluency School students practice in depth, is an increased level of skill when demonstrating empathy in a sincere way. So whether you're talking with a loved one who just had a terrible day or working with an upset customer, here's how you can effectively follow up and express appreciation. "How are you feeling today? How are you feeling, or how have you been since we last spoke? How have things progressed since we last spoke? How's the process going? We value your feedback, and I'd like to know how things are going since we implemented that solution." Not only do these open questions invite more details and conversation, but they also help you gauge whether or not more support is needed. Now, how does all of this look? How do these 4 strategies go together in a spoken response or an email? I recently wrote an email to a company expressing my frustration with their product, a product I've actually used for years. And to be quite honest, I wasn't just frustrated, I was angry, I was annoyed. In my email, I was sure to be professional, but I made it very clear how upset I was. And I have to be honest with you, I was stunned in a very positive way with the email response I received. In fact, it followed every single one of the strategies I've just shared with you today. If you'd like to see a full image of this email, I've shared it with this lesson at my Speak Confident English website, and I'll leave a link directly to this lesson in the video notes below. But here are a few key phrases from the email that I'd like to share with you. And as I do, I think you'll immediately notice which strategies are being used. The email started with, "I completely understand how important it is. I sincerely apologize, and I do appreciate your 2 cents about the matter. It totally makes sense, and I'm on your side here. I made sure to talk to my team about it. Should we hear any word or update on this matter, rest assured I will personally make sure this information is relayed to you." How do you think I felt after reading that email? I felt heard, understood, and appreciated. Although I did not get the solution I wanted in the end, I trusted the company more. If you're ready to demonstrate genuine empathy in English, my recommendation is that you choose 2 or 3 phrases from the lesson that you like or that you feel comfortable with. Write them down. Practice saying them regularly. Use them as often as you can. Just like adding new words to your English vocabulary, repeating phrases consistently is an important step in helping you remember these phrases the instant that you need them. You can also download my free How to Say What You Want in English training, which outlines how to build confidence and be able to express yourself more easily in English. With that, thank you so much for joining me in today's Confident English lesson on empathy. Make sure that you subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next time.